So I just watched the video from Dandapani. I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly. Fascinating man. If you haven't looked at his work, fascinating man. And he talks about wealth and spirituality, money and spirituality, and he had some very, very interesting points. It was actually a very short video, a very short clip from an interview, and it's a fascinating thing that I think about a lot. First of all, he talks about how the philosophy that he subscribes to, wealth is actually a part of maybe the goals that they have. He talked to us like 4 things: love, wealth, dharma, and enlightenment. So actually wealth came before some of the other things. And I thought it was fascinating that some people say to him, which I hear this a lot, and I've seen this in comments on YouTube, that people think that if you're a spiritual teacher or someone who's in the field, maybe of spirituality, or people like a monk, or he was a Hindu priest, that's what he said in this short clip, that he shouldn't be making money off of spirituality. And that sentence in itself could open up a 3-hour conversation about the things that are hiding in that. But if you think about this, first of all, then they're saying that money is a bad thing. And so asking for money for the gifts that you provide to the world through this interviews that he's doing, the videos, the courses, he has online programs, then he doesn't deserve to get value back from the value he's given. And that shows you what I see, and I think I had a little bit of that belief a long time ago. That shows us our relationship with money, that we see money as a negative thing, and I think that's fascinating. It's fascinating I'm doing a lot of work currently about projections and the things that we project onto money and different things like that. And it's really, really interesting to think about. There's 2 different major types of projection that towards money: negative and positive, right? So you project negative things into money, like money's dirty, like rich people are greedy, rich people are bad people, whatever it might be. So basically you're kind of pushing money away. And then the positive projection, just money is, this was actually for me, if you try the sentence, money is, fill in the blank. The first one that comes to me, and this is not overthinking it, is not analyzing, it's just whatever comes up for you. The first one that comes up for me is money's freedom. Some people say money is worth, like self-worth or power. Some people might feel like money is power, money is opportunities. So it's saying that for me, that main one that comes up for me, that I don't feel free without money. So it's fascinating for me to explore that relationship. Like, okay, so what about it is it that makes me feel free without money, with money? And what about it is it that makes me feel not free without money? And it's really interesting to see how sometimes we get triggered with little things with money. And just to pay attention to that reaction. We all have triggers. We might always all have triggers for the rest of our lives. For a little while, I kind of had the goal, unconsciously, had the goal of one day not having any more triggers, which that by itself is a fascinating thing to consider. We have this, we create this little mental finish line on our spiritual journey, that when I get to that finish line of having no triggers, then I made it, or whatever. I'm evolved. I'm enlightened, and just perfect. And there's no more work for me to do, or there's no more whatever, healing, whatever, however you might see that. It's a fascinating thing to consider that we think that way. We all do, I think, at some level, at some point, some subtle ways or not so subtle ways. But the other thing that I wanted to cover, that he mentioned too, that acquiring wealth and expanding your wealth can be a good thing because you can help your community. You can take care of your family first. Of course, if you're a parent, I don't have any kids, but still, like, you can still take care of people around you, take care of yourself even. And you can help your communities. I've talked about this in other videos of mine. And if you watch that movie that I talk about, Money and Life, very, very interesting movie. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to help our community. And of course, we don't need money to help our communities. You can give time away, any other kind of value that you can offer to your community, any kind of support. But let's get real. Having money is another way to help our communities. And here's the thing that just came up for me when I was watching his video. Even just me saying, I want to be wealthy. Just how does that feel for you? Just say it out loud right now. Take a breath, slow down, and just say it out loud. I want to be wealthy. There's little things that come up for me, like from my childhood and all the things that I heard growing up, right? That rich people are greedy, rich people are, they're bad people. They use other people. They don't care about people because they just want to make more money. I know those little beliefs that I don't believe them right now as an adult, consciously, but I notice sometimes that if I say I want to be wealthy and my body gets a little tense, or there's a part of me that feels weird and icky about it, and then that shows me, okay, there's something a little more subtle, maybe on a subconscious, unconscious level, whatever, that doesn't agree with that sentence, right? Doesn't agree with the sentence of I want to be wealthy, or maybe I feel a little bit of guilt, a little bit of shame. I feel selfish. So it's fascinating that when it comes to spirituality and the fact that we're so willing sometimes to do inner work and healing work and heal ourselves and help others heal and help the world heal and everything, and yet we don't recognize how, and let's get very, very real and honest right now, how fucked up sometimes our relationship with money is. And I use that word on purpose because it might trigger some of us to say that. Because of course there's nothing wrong with that. It's a messed up relationship, but it's perfect that it's messed up. It's what we needed to go through to get to where we're today. It's what we're healing. It's how we were brought up. It's not our fault. It's not even your parents' fault. It's not even society's fault. It is what it is. It is how and where and when we grew up. It comes from centuries and centuries of ways of thinking, ways of living, what they went through. An enormous amount of things that influence how they were brought up and how they were brought up and how they were, and you keep going back. So I think first realizing, and the phrase that I use in almost every one of my videos, like get real about how you feel so that you can heal. So if you feel like your relationship with money is messed up, then let's start there. Let's get real. Let's get real. And not think that working on a relationship with money is not spiritual work and is not healing work. It's fascinating. When I was, like I said, I've been curious about my relationship with money because I see people around me, some people that are very, very, very close to me and have very painful and stressful relationships with money. And I have had a very stressful and challenging relationship with money. But it always felt like so materialistic. Like, why should I even worry about that? Like, that's coming from something else. I should work on other things. And maybe a side effect of working on other things will be that that experience with money changes. Not realizing until I was introduced to this work by Peter Koenig that sometimes starting around working with money can take you deeper, Because there's a reason why we avoid talking about money in spirituality many times. Not all, everyone, and not always, of course. There's a reason why we avoid it. There's a reason why it feels, oh, I shouldn't go there, or I shouldn't. And it's funny how I remember a while ago, it was probably a year or 2 years ago, I was talking to my best friend about how another friend of mine introduced me to some like self-worth mantra, and he gave a bunch of examples, and one of them was related to money. It was around money. And I remember I was working on I was doing landscaping that day, and I was mowing the lawn, riding around in that little riding mower, and I was like, you know what, for this, there was a big square that I was mowing, and I just basically had to go square, square, square until I got to the middle. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play around with that mantra. I'm not big into mantras for whatever reason, but I was like, I'll play around with it. And then the next day, I forget, I got a gift. Someone gave me as a gift like a machine that is worth like, I don't know, $500 or more. Let's say $500. And I got something else, I forget, like a little bonus or something somewhere. I was like, that's interesting. It could be related to it, it might not. And I was talking to my best friend about it, and she was like, because I was working on my self-worth. And I told her, like, it doesn't feel right to do it around money. And she was like, well, sometimes whichever way you can get into self-worth, there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with just going at it just from the angle, the perspective of money? Like if you have 5 doors right in front of you, and one is like your relationship with money, and then the other one this and that, they all lead to the same place. There's nothing wrong with choosing that door. And it just opened me up to the possibility and the reality, like, yeah, there's like, why like question it so much? Like, why thinking about money, why is it wrong? Why wanting more money, why is it wrong? Like desiring financial abundance, why is that wrong? Why do we feel bad about it? It's I don't know, even that simple thing, it's just such a fascinating question to me. Like, why do we feel bad about having more money? And if this doesn't resonate with you, it's not for you, and it's okay. But I feel like many people that are very heart-centered and just very heart-centered sometimes feel guilty about money and bad about it. And it's a fascinating thing. So I think however you feel about money, and anything that I shared in this video that might have either triggered you, made you feel uncomfortable, made you like judge me in a strange way, just question it. Just question it and explore it. And explore, maybe like I said, what kind of projection you put onto money. Is it a negative projection? Is it a positive one? Or the third type, which I forgot to mention, which is a mix of both. And that's my relationship with money. Because I project such positive things onto money, like the freedom and the opportunities and all that. I chase money. And it's a thing that I think a lot about. And I'm always, I want more money because I don't want to have to stress about being in debt or not having enough, right? And at the same time, because I have negative projections onto money, I push it away. So I'm chasing money and making money, but I'm very, very creative on finding ways to, and it's always things for myself. Like I'm working on my health, so I'm exploring like supplements and protocols and detox or whatever, or just going on programs and things like that. And but I'm always in that little roller coaster ride of those ups and downs with money. So it's a fascinating thing to explore for yourself. What is my relationship with money? And just come at it from a place of acceptance and compassion. Just, it is what it is. I'm not gonna hate myself for it. It's where I'm at right now. It's how I grew up, how I was conditioned. I'm not gonna beat myself up for it. It's just what it is right now. So the topic of spirituality and money and wealth is it's fascinating to me. So I just want to share little ideas that have come across. So if this was interesting, if there was any value in this video and you watched this far, please consider giving it a thumbs up for the algorithm so that these videos can reach a little more people, hopefully help more people. And if you're interested in actually going a little deeper, then join the tribe. You can go to my website. It's a free newsletter. Go to my website, gonzalocortes.com. Sign up for the free newsletter, and I'll see you on the inside. Cool things coming. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day.